Bitcoin has been raging sideways since the 26th of October. In this video, we're going to be jumping down into the recent price action for Bitcoin to take a look at what's been going on and what I think is likely to happen next. So let's get into it. Here we have Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is the data source. Now, there's a lot of things going on here, so I'm going to tidy this up the best I can, make it a little bit cleaner so you get a good idea as to kind of what is going on. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete out some of these microstructures. I think are just cluttering up our chart a little bit here. Keep it clean and kind of communicate what I think is likely to happen. So as you can kind of see, we've kind of got 5 waves coming up here. And this is a part of a bigger 1, 2, potentially 3 up here. This being a 4th wave, I'm not overly fond of this idea now, specifically because I think it has kind of taken its toll, as in it's taken quite a long time to kind of play out. And I don't think really we would have had it play out as this long or taken this long to kind of get into a 5th wave. So I'm going to go ahead and close that off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this as our C wave here, and it would be a 335 kind of scenario there. Okay, so for that, I think that's kind of where that stands. This doesn't really change our analysis terribly too much. We do have a quick correction just down in here, 1, 2, and 3 like that. And then we're moving up here. Now, this is where things get a little bit more complicated. I'm going to go ahead and remove these for now. In fact, I also remove my, leave the alert there actually. Let's keep that there for a second. So with this being said, you know, we are looking at this as a potential 3-wave structured move to the upside, right? We go up in 1, 2, and then up here in 3, right? That's kind of the expectation. We can also take a look at the sub counts, and we can say 1, 2, and 3, and that makes sense. Coming to the downside here, we also have an interesting structural drop, which we saw yesterday. So we can go ahead and go 1, 2, and 3 in there. And then we're just looking for the opposite. We're looking to go up, right? And we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3 kind of scenario. Okay, now I'm thinking, looking at this, a couple of different things. One, we could still pull down a little bit lower, and I think this is one of the concerns that we do have. If I pull this over to here, we could see this potentially coming down to 20,093 as a potential count that would look like this: 1, 2, and then 3, like so. Okay. However, we are correcting momentum-wise very, very well without actually dropping price. So I think that's less likely at this stage, but anything is possible, and so we'll keep a close eye on it. For the most part, though, I do think we're progressing to the upside. So let's go into that and take a look at what's going on there. Okay. So as we kind of look at this, we come down here, this kind of completes our first kind of structure, and we obviously have these 3 waves up here. So as I said earlier, it looks to me like this is a 1, 2, 3 or ABC kind of structured job. And if that is the case, then I'll go ahead and grab this and move this over to our low point down here, our local low, right in there. And that would show us moving up towards the $21,335 level, right? Right in there. And it would end up with this kind of big zigzaggy kind of structure. It's not actually a zigzag, but it would be an ABC or WXY. It'd be more accurate if we're going to talk letters. But for the most part, that's exactly what I think is going to go on. And therefore, that's why I've got my long position. However, with this being said, it's important that we reflect on where we currently sit. So all these yellow boxes on here represent key areas for us. At the bottom here, this is a demand level. In the middle, this is also a previous area of demand. Okay, and we've kind of revisited this area. It was up here, support, here resistance, and now support. Okay, and then likewise in the middle, we have this ranging area. Okay, we can see that we consolidated a lot in here. So it's no surprise that that's where we are right now. Okay, so just bear these things in mind. I'm going to remove this one out because I want to draw another one on. Okay, so we have this little slither here. And what I want to do is I want to reflect on these wicks right up here, because I think that this is where we're going to find our next kind of area of resistance, okay, or supply coming into the market to bring us back down. You can kind of see over this side here, resistance pushed up. We were unable to kind of keep this area. We tried and to turn this into a demand zone, but just too much supply here. It brought us down. We retested. We fell back down. Okay, so I think there's going to be a test of this area again. And it's not to say that we won't go pushing through it, because I think we will push through it. The question becomes, are we going to turn it into a support line? And timing in this is going to be absolutely everything. Okay, so what I'm looking at is I'm looking at this as a potential 3-wave structure. And I don't liken this as the end of this structure at the moment, but it's one of those one I'm going to be keeping an eye on. And this shows basically just short of 21K. And if I put this on here, in fact, I'm going to use another yellow box. I'm going to take it from over here, right? I'm going to put it onto this little area here, this 1-to-1 ratio on our fibs level. So we came up in A, B, and C. If I pull this across, and put this up here, you can see that this is another area where the demand is, where the supply is. So if we start thinking about where these supply zones are, we've got two options. We're going to potentially push through this area, but this is key, 618, 786, even the 702 is in there, right? And so this is an area that is going to be really, really tough to push through. This is basically between 20,750 and 20,850. So I'm thinking to myself that, my long position, I might play it safe and come out here. And if I'm looking at the data at the time, we're in here and we're looking good, then this is my next kind of thought, which will be 20,945 to 21,084. And the reason for this is simply the fact that I think we've got a lot of supply coming in that's going to try to push the price back down, falling short of our expectations, but could also be a double top kind of scenario, which would be pretty bearish, and that we could see a break to the downside. And what I want to do is I want to reflect on some more data just outside of just what's going on here with Bitcoin. In terms of price action and price charts, and that's going to be what's going on with our inflows and our outflows. As I often talk about this every day on Twitch, on the streams, it's important that we reflect on the inflows and the outflows together, not in isolation. We don't just look at inflows, or we don't just look at outflows, we have to pair them up. Now, in the last 24 hours, we actually seen slightly more Bitcoin going onto the exchanges than was coming off, right? So we have 33,000 going in and only 30 coming out. And again, this has been kind of toying around with trying to find pockets of demand and pockets of supply. Nothing major going on there, but I do want to kind of note that if we take a look at the wallets, it's only really these smaller wallets that are participating. If we take a look at the larger wallets, the whales have not been participating, the sharks have not been participating, the krakens have been, but again, we're not optimistic about those wallets. In terms of the way that they've reacted before. If I actually show you this one here, they accumulate during the bear market only to dump it back down again. So when we take a look at this, it's accumulation, sure, but I'm not thinking that that's a positive. I'm thinking that's going to enter the market at some point and really drag us down. So when we start thinking about the inflows and the outflows and the fact that the participants aren't really getting terribly too involved other than retail money, then essentially I'm looking at the data here thinking, okay, we're going to have a hard time pushing up a little bit higher. Now, if I bring up our stochastic RSI, the positive right in here with this current price action is the fact that our stochastic RSI has corrected really, really well down here, and we're actually holding this as a good demand area. So I have high hopes that we're going to be moving on up into these higher ranges later today. One of the things I'm really cautious and a little bit concerned about is going to be the FOMC meeting, and obviously the minutes and the speech that's going to happen over the next kind of day, so tomorrow, Wednesday, and I think what that's going to mean is a lot of volatility, and I don't really want to be risk on during those moments. So I want to kind of make sure I finish my position here ahead of tomorrow. But let me know what your plans are. Are you actually looking to take advantage of the volatility? Are you kind of going long? Are you going short? Let me know in the comments down below. Right now, though, I'm thinking I want to get risk off as soon as I can, and I do think that we're going to see that later today with a bit of a move to the upside. But as I said, I'm still expecting a small amount of volatility down in this low range here. I don't think we're necessarily done correcting yet, as you can see from our hourly chart, but we got plenty of growth on the 4 hour, plenty of growth on the 8 hour, and of course, a massive drop that is due on our daily and our weekly stochastic RSIs. So not confident on the kind of longer term pictures and the macros, but I'm pretty confident that we'll have a bit of a move to the upside on the micro structures. So guys, I'm going to leave it there. If you found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and you'll never miss another update. And don't forget, join us down in Discord. If you're not there, you're missing a trick. Check it out. Links in the description below, guys. Until the next one, have a fantastic day.